unity of polygamists, the AUB, when the show was first started, as the purpose of the Sister Wives show, and then the reality of the show. Because when the show first started, I remember Kody and his family kind of gathering a bunch of the family and a bunch of the members of the AUB together to watch a pilot that had been filmed, and it was sort of presented as an opportunity to present a positive image of polygamy to the world, and to sort of bring polygamy out of the, out of the sort of the underground and into the light, and to show that we're just really great people too. And it is wild to me how much it doesn't do that.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Ben Brown, who is Kody's nephew, is on a roll, and he's over on his TikTok talking about the older episodes of Sister Wives, like the very first season. Mind you, he's never watched the show before, so he's reacting to it now, but the episodes he's reacting to are from the first season, and it's about Robyn and Kody's wedding and sort of the unfairness of it all. The Sister Wives actually go through this in the series and talk about how different their weddings were than Robyn's. They didn't get the pomp, the circumstance, the reception, the party. They didn't have the dress or any of it, really. Robyn got what Mary got in many ways. Now, Robyn, for her part, says that all of this was because of the show. Like, the show wanted to put this together. Whatever the reason is or the excuse, that's how it was put together. And Ben took a lot of issues with how Kody forced his other wives to engage in this process when it was very clear that he and Robyn were doing things to directly hurt them and making them participate in events that they otherwise wouldn't want to participate in, but are being forced to for the show, for Kody's narcissism, and specifically talking about the dress episode where Kody ends up picking out Robyn's dress after Robyn went to go dress shopping with the wives, and she put them in god-awful brown dresses, which I understand everyone's like, they're wearing brown for the name brown, but the color brown they picked was so ugly. There are so many colors of brown. The color brown they picked was ugly. And Robyn and Kody's wedding is the topic, along with many other things, but specifically the wedding episode, and then just his overall embarrassment of being related to Kody. And incidentally, Janelle posted on her Instagram story something about becoming your own hero or rescuing your own self. And it reminded me of something that she had said to Robyn years ago during, I think, season 2 or 3. And it seems like it's just subtle shade towards Robyn about constantly being a damsel in distress. And then Christine shared about having courage. So let's dive into it.
And while I imagine that the idea of including everyone in the reception and like planning it all together was supposed to be really fun and exciting, the reality of it was just really depressing, because it just highlighted the unfairness of the system. Like, Christine's just barely had a baby and she's desperate for some attention, but she's getting dragged around to help Robyn try on dresses and taste cake. The planning is full of all kinds of weird power dynamics, like forcing the other wives into these ugly brown dresses, and they're like not bridesmaids, they're advisors. Like, what? And then there's that weird thing at the end where like they spent all this time picking out a dress and then Kody picks it. Like, what was even the point of that outing other than to make the other wives feel bad? When Christine confronts Kody directly about this and is like, well, then why didn't you pick out my dress? That highlights the core of the conflict. And it illustrates why love actually is divided, not multiplied.
I know that Robyn on the show and in the book says that she had to do all of these things because of the show, and she would have preferred it to be very different. But knowing who Robyn is today versus the Robyn she was pretending to be back then, I don't buy that for a minute. I actually believe that the whole wedding thing was something she felt she deserved because she was his soulmate. And I also think that Kody felt he deserved it as well because he wanted to put this wedding out to show what a guy he was, like what a stud he was. I honestly, in many ways, think the wedding was more for Kody than it was for Robyn. I know Robyn got the wedding, but I think Kody, being the showboat and the narcissist that he is, he wanted a huge party to show off what a stud he was and look at the hot new piece that I'm going to be taking home with me, right? I know you guys don't think she's pretty, but in polygamy, she's a knockout. And so what I really like about Ben's take is that on the show, the women, you can tell they're not engaged. You can tell that they're just going along and playing the part and having to say the right things and having to go along with it, whether or not they want to do it or not. Because on the couch, there are so many tears, whether it's Mary crying about Robyn coming into the marriage and coming into the family, or Christine crying about Kody not picking out her wedding dress and not caring about what she wore to the wedding. And then Kody doing something so specific with Robyn to pick out her dress. On the show, when they're doing all of these things, the women are having to put on a good face, but you can tell, like when you're watching the couch scenes, how uncomfortable all of it was for them. And then to force them to engage in it is just another uncomfortable and cruel manipulation and control tactic by Kody. And then for Kody to then decide that he's going to be the one to pick out the dress after Robyn does the bonding experience with the women to go pick out a dress, it shows the conflict of Kody wanted to have control. He wanted to be the one that made the dress, picked out the dress. But it also shows that Robyn wanted to have Kody pick the dress for her, and she wanted to have a secret because she didn't want to tell them that Kody picked the dress out with her. She wanted to keep that a secret forever. And it does show from the very beginning the problems with polygamy. I know that McKelty will say that there's never a perfect time in polygamy and there's always unfairness. And, just because her mom was pregnant, that doesn't mean it's not a time to add a wife. That doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that he's right. Christine was newly postpartum. She had just had a challenging pregnancy where she was high risk. She was tired. She had a newborn, and her husband, all he cared to do was gallivant around with his hot piece of Montana booty and force his newly delivered postpartum wife to be a part of that. I don't know how many of you have had children, but when you're newly postpartum, you need love, you need support, your hormones are all over the place. You just want that's like a really critical time for you. It's a critical time for the baby. It's an important time for your relationship. And Kody didn't care enough about that relationship or that baby to nurture that or give Christine a time and attention that she needed. So it proves like the basis of their marriage was built on the pain and suffering of Christine and the birth of Truly. It's horrible. But Christine says she didn't understand why he needed to take another wife. She didn't really feel like it was a good time. She felt like Kody ditched her, that he had left her, that he completely abandoned her. And he did. No woman deserves to be abandoned, whether you're a polygamous wife or not. Like no woman, if you have a partner, deserves to be abandoned, whether when they're postpartum. If you're like the only thing I can consider is like if your husband is in the military or your spouse is in the military, or if like they have to be away for work for some reason, but not to be gallivanting around with a new trophy wife. So I really do appreciate Ben's observations here. And he also said that he's embarrassed to be related to Kody because of how he acts on the show. And I don't blame him. He also said that Robyn cries a lot and they should have a drinking game. And I don't disagree with that. Now, I want to show you a clip from back in season 2 or 3 about how Janelle described the marriage, Kody and Robyn's marriage.
When I first saw how Robyn ran your relationship with Kody, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like this helpless, playing the helpless damsel, wanting Kody to do these things for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You have a very strong sense of identity and you know who you are without Kody. And I did too in my past relationship. And that's not because of anything to do with you guys' relationship. It's not like there's anything wrong, but that's where you like to be. I'm very independent.
Right.
I mean, I am.
Something I've noticed about the women when you watch back the older seasons is how much they are constantly comparing one another's relationships, their personalities, and trying to either justify their own personalities or criticize the way that someone is doing something and justify that their position is right, or belittling someone's personality and saying that this is my personality and I like this better, because they're all competing for Kody. I feel like in a community like this, it's not empowering for women because instead of encouraging each other, you're constantly looking at each other's relationships and you're either seeing what you're not getting and you feel jealous, or you're feeling insecure. You might feel insecure because you don't look like the other woman and you're like, well, if he likes her, how can he like me? Or you might feel like you're better than people because you're getting things that they're not getting. Or you might feel guilty because you're getting things that they're not getting. Or you might feel entitled or justified in doing things because you feel like your way is the right way and their way the wrong way. And I've noticed that in a lot of ways that they communicate, they often belittle each other, whether it's directly or it's subtly. In this case, she was very direct, belittling the way that Robyn acts with Kody, saying that Robyn plays the damsel in distress. And she also would do this with Christine and call Christine a princess, saying that Christine always was very dramatic, was a princess and always had to have things a certain way and always wanted her way and whatever. What I've noticed about Janelle is that because of Janelle's personality type, being very independent and being very not necessarily not looking to a man to define who she is, not looking to a relationship to define what she is, and her work ethic and her feminism, quote unquote, and she's not a feminist, by the way, but her feminism in that she doesn't play a traditional role in this community. She's a worker bee. I feel like a lot of times she does that to sort of justify her own independence, right? Like her personality of being independent, being bold, being a feminist, quote unquote, isn't valued in this society. And so for her, a lot of times I feel like she needs to find a way to empower herself through these kinds of comments. I'm not here to say that they don't all do this to each other. This is just an example, okay? Now, do I think that Robyn is playing a part? 100%. Do I think that Robyn is a needy person that demanded Kody's time and played the victim? Yes. But do I believe that that's how Robyn is in real life? No. I think that Robyn knew that Kody had a savior complex and he had a hero complex, and that if she was playing the victim, he would come running. And I think she knew that if she did that, she got the attention and the time that she wanted. Because even what Robyn says here is, I knew who I was in my previous relationship. I was confident outside of my relationship. So what she's saying here is, I'm not confident in my relationship here, and I'm not confident in my identity here, which is actually pretty self-deprecating if you think about it. But what she's doing is actually being very manipulative, because I think she does know who she is. I think she does know her identity. I think she knew exactly what she was doing with Kody and how to get what she needed out of him and what buttons to push and how to play, okay? But I think all the women struggle here. This isn't to go at any specific women. It's just a testament to how dysfunctional the system is. The women are pit against each other. And Janelle is of the opinion that in order to get over your healing and your hurts, you don't need to be rescued by anyone, okay? She believes that you should rescue your damn self. She has made this comment about Christine because Christine found a guy and got married right away and, was rescued in a sense by David, and how she doesn't need that. She doesn't need a man to tell her that she's a better person. Again, sort of justifying her independence. It's a byproduct. But anyway, she wrote, Monday morning back in Flagstaff, left my favorite rescue your damn self mug at Maddie's, but this one is good too. Root for your damn self. Janelle's independence is not appreciated in polygamy. And I think she has to constantly remind people that she's independent. And listen, I think she should root for herself, and I think she should rescue herself, but I also think it's okay to be reliant and dependent on people. I think she was doing this as a defense mechanism because she knew that Kody couldn't be there for her, and she probably understood the limitations of their relationship, and so she didn't want to have herself be hurt by the expectation that he would be there. And so she just decided by putting up a wall of being independent, and she might be an independent person on top of it, but I can't believe that if she had the right partner, this would be the exact same dynamic. However, I do think that she recognizes that because she was independent and she didn't need him, that was how Robyn was able to get Kody away from her, because she was codependent. Robyn was being codependent on Kody, couldn't do anything without him, and Kody was being codependent on Robyn. He got the supply from her. And Janelle's like, well, I guess I got to rescue my damn self, which again is like when you're in polygamy, you're a single parent, you're a single wife. You can't rely on your spouse to do anything. You have to do it all yourself. So it's just an unfair dynamic. So I think in some respects, Janelle is still saying, like, you need to, like, take care of yourself, rescue yourself. And it's not a bad statement. Like, no one has to rely on anyone to get yourself out of a situation, right? You can rescue yourself from a situation. You don't need a man to rescue you. And I like that she's doing that. And I like that attitude. But I feel like it's, again, her throwing shade at Robyn and just reminding herself, like, it's okay to be independent. Okay? And then Christine shared this. Over the last few years, many people have reached out to me looking for the courage to make a change. Let this be the day that you step out into the uncomfortable, unfamiliar, or even scary. Change is scary, but we can do scary things. You got this, make the change, believe in yourself, positive change. She's kind of in a way doing the same thing that Mary's doing, like Worthy Up. They all kind of like compete with each other, which is again a byproduct of their cult. They're all competing for attention and time and being the center of attention. And so she wants to inspire people to be courageous, to do what's uncomfortable. And I agree with her wholeheartedly that change is definitely scary. It is very hard to leave dynamics like this. And she just wants to share an uplifting message, which is truly amazing. And I hope that whoever sees that from this culture sees that you can leave. You don't have to stay stuck. You can have the courage to leave. You can overcome insurmountable trauma, abuse, and obstacles and remove yourself from a situation like this and find happiness on the other side. And you don't have to do it the same way as Christine, and you don't have to do it the same way as Janelle, and you don't have to do the same way as Mary. You can find a man, you cannot find a man. You can be in a relationship, you cannot be in a relationship. You can do whatever you need. But everybody's journey out is different. Everyone's deconstruction is different. Everyone's path is different. If I were to be honest, do I think that if I were to do it, how would I have done it? Probably a lot like Janelle. I've never been the kind that would run from one relationship to another because I went to therapy, and something my therapist said years ago was that you need to fix yourself before you can actually fix anyone else, and a new relationship cannot heal your past trauma. You have to do the work yourself. You can't expect a new partner to take on that pain and fix what's broken. And I remember that because I used to be very codependent, and I remember strategically taking time after a really bad breakup to be single. And I was committed to being single, and I was committed to not having a partner. And I was single for like a couple years. I mean, I dated, but nothing serious. And I was not looking for my husband when I found him. Like, I was on a dating site, but it wasn't like I expected him to be there. It was just like, well, I'll go on a date with him. I was okay being by myself. And then I found him. And we'd been together for 15 years, married almost 14. So I would have done it probably a lot like Janelle, but that's just me. So what are your thoughts about all of this? About Ben's take on the wedding, about Janelle, Christine, their take, their courage, the damsel stuff, the stuff about Robyn? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click on the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, guys.